Beyond the gate, spoilers tease that the fragile piece Fairmont Crest has been clinging to is about to shatter. In the wake of Leslie Thomas's high-profile arrest and Eva's courageous testimony, everyone assumed his reign of terror was over. Yet beneath the surface, darker loyalties stir. Eva, once determined to see Leslie pay for every crime, secretly orchestrates his escape, her compassion twisted by the fear that exposing all of his secrets might destroy the few precious fragments of her remaining family. As Leslie vanishes into the night with Eva's clandestine help, Ted Richardson's mounting obsession erupts into violence. Believing Eva betrayed justice itself, he snaps and attacks his own daughter, determined to extract the truth no matter the cost. When Danny Dupree arrives at the scene, witnessing Ted's fury and Leslie's looming threat, she quickly calls 911, an act that will determine who survives the night and whether Fairmont Crest can ever heal. It begins late one evening in Eva Thomas's modest apartment on Maple Street. Ever since Leslie's conviction, she's felt a perverse tug of responsibility, a sense that exposing every fragment of his crimes will cement the finality of her mother's death, whose heart gave out under the weight of discovering Leslie's darkest dealings. In the dim kitchen light, Eva stands at the counter, phone in hand, watching news footage of Leslie's jail cell for the 100th time. She's heard rumors, snatches of whisper that someone within the DA's office was willing to drop charges if Leslie cooperated. The thought claws at her, if Leslie trades more lives to save his own hide, her mother's sacrifice will be meaningless. She stares at a photograph on the fridge, her mother's smiling face from happier days. And then, trembling, Eva dials a number she's memorized from secret conversations months ago, a number that connects her to the one person capable of pulling off a prison break. By midnight, Leslie Thomas lies wounded on the cot in the guest bedroom of Eva's apartment. He wears a makeshift mask of gauze over a nascent bruise, his tailored clothes replaced by hospital scrubs smuggled in by Eva. As he drifts in and out of consciousness, the door clicks softly and Eva emerges in a thin robe, her face pale but determined. She points to a duffel bag, clean clothes, cash, and a burner phone with preloaded numbers. Leslie's eyes flicker open, confusion and gratitude intertwining. "You did this for me?" he rasps. Eva steps closer, voice low. "You have to go now. I arranged everything. There's a driver waiting 2 blocks away. Just get out before they realize you're gone." He nods weakly, gripping her hand. "Thank you, Eva. I'll make you proud." Her gaze falters, guilt shimmering, but she masks it. "Go." Leslie eases off the bed, wincing, as Eva hastily undoes a panel in the wall, her still unfinished attempt at building a hidden passage for emergencies. Together they slip through the narrow space, vanishing into the hallway shadows. Before dawn, as Leslie slips out the back door toward an unmarked sedan idling in the alley, Eva retreats to her room. The adrenaline fades, leaving her chest hollow. She sits on the edge of her bed, head in her hands, her mother's photo slipping from her grasp and landing face down on the quilt. The silence is shattered by the sound of frantic knocking, Ted Richardson's heavy footsteps pounding across the front porch. He bursts through the door without waiting for an answer, eyes wild, face flushed with rage and betrayal. Eva stumbles backward, alarm igniting her limbs. "Dad." She begins, but he slams the bathroom door behind him, locking it. His breaths come in ragged bursts. "You let him go," he snarls, voice cracking. You. All your talk of justice, and you set him free." Eva presses herself against the wall, shaking. "I did it to protect what's left of us." Ted's glove-wrapped hand flies out, slugging into her shoulder, sending her crashing against the tiled wall. She gasps as pain sears through her. "You betrayed him." Ted roars, advancing, fists raised. Eva collapses to her knees, back to the door, realizing too late that she's trapped. Meanwhile, Danny Dupree, searching for Eva early the next morning, arrives at the Thomas house on an ominously humid dawn. She intended only to reassure her friend and discuss next steps, Eva's plan, which Danny thought abandoned, to testify further. But when she rounds the corner, she finds the front door ajar, lights flickering inside. Cautiously, she steps onto the porch, calling Eva's name. A muffled cry echoes from within. Danny's heart pounds as she pushes inside, phone already in hand. The living room is eerily silent. Overturned chairs, a photograph of Eva's mother lying shattered on the floor. Splintered glass and a smear of blood trail into the hallway. Danny follows the stain to a half-open bathroom door. She peers inside, stunned. Blood spatters the tiles, and Eva lies curled in a corner of the bathtub, bruised and bleeding. On the floor, a broken cell phone just outside the tub, Ted's trembling footsteps buzzing on Danny's phone as she calls 911. In moments that feel suspended in time, Danny pulls Eva into her arms. Eva's eyes flutter open, confusion and shame flashing across her face. "Danny," she croaks, voice raw. Danny presses a hand to her friend's forehead, warmth of determination replacing panic. "It's okay. I'm here." Sirens wail in the distance, drawing nearer. From the living room, Danny hears Ted's roar, "You'll pay for this." Frantic, Danny throws a towel over Eva's wounds and drags her toward the living room, where she sees Ted looming over a small table, eyes unhinged, fists still clenched. Before she can react, he lunges at Eva again. Danny screams, rushing forward to block his path. "Stop, Dad." Mom would have hated this, she shrieks, trying to wrestle his arm down. Ted's face contorts with rage as he shoves Danny aside, grunting in fury. Eva, trembling, crawls backward, blood pooling beneath her as she struggles to keep her eyes on her father. The front door bursts open as uniformed officers flood inside, weapons drawn. "Drop your weapon, Mr. Richardson," one commands. Ted, panting, whirls around, fury draining into confusion. His fists drop, and he stares at the officers, the weight of his actions dawning on him. He staggers backward, as if realizing the abyss he's teetered over. One officer moves to cuff him. Danny catches Eva's arm, helping her to lean against a wall. The paramedics arrive, rushing past officers to check Eva's wounds. Ted stands, hands clasped painfully behind his back, as the lead detective reads him his rights. "You have the right to remain silent." Ted's shoulders slump. The veneer of control dissolves into sorrow. Danny steps closer to Eva, tears streaming as she kisses her friend's forehead. "They're here, Eva. You're safe now." Later that afternoon, in the hospital's emergency ward, Eva lies on a narrow bed. A nurse finishes bandaging her shoulder and checking vital signs. Eva grimaces, but forces a calm expression for Danny's sake. Danny perches on a plastic chair, brushing stray hairs from Eva's face. "You're going to be okay," she whispers. Eva's lip trembles. "I'm sorry, Danny. I thought, if I kept Leslie alive, maybe he'd change." Danny shakes her head. "You did what you thought was right, but you have to see how far it went." Eva sighs, tears slipping free. "Ted, he almost killed me." Danny wraps her arms around Eva, cradling her tightly. "But he didn't. The cops came just in time." Eva nods, voice small and fragile. "What happens to Leslie?" "They found him at a safe house on Ridgefield Road," Danny says. "He's been arrested again, for escape, kidnapping, assault. This time they won't let him slip through their fingers." Eva exhales, relief and fear mingling. "And Dad?" Danny's eyes soften. "He's in custody too. They charged him with aggravated assault. But the DA understands he was trying to protect you. He'll probably get house arrest, maybe counseling." Eva closes her eyes. "I lost them both." "You didn't," Danny counters. "You found the strength to make hard choices. That's not losing, it's surviving." Eva's shoulders shake as she lets the tears come. In the days that follow, Fairmont Crest reels from the revelations. Newspaper headlines scream, Eva Thomas aids escape, daughter turns against criminal, then heroically calls cops as father snaps. Social media explodes with opinions, some condemning Eva, some condemning Ted, most aghast that Leslie could walk free so soon. Yet, as the town digests the scandal, Danny and Eva lean on each other. The Richardson Foundation announces a special fund in Eva's mother's memory, support for trauma survivors, which Eva reluctantly endorses to honor her mother's compassion without glorifying her own mistakes. Meanwhile, Leslie sits in the county jail's maximum security wing, his head shaven and bruised. As he stares at the blank ceiling, his mind races with new grudges against Eva for turning on him, against Ted for laying him low, against Danny for calling the police. He knows his days of influence are over, his network has collapsed, his silence purchased nothing. In that cell, his greatest fear crystallizes, that no one will ever come to save him again. Ted, released to house arrest under strict supervision, moves back into the Richardson estate alone. Each morning he visits Eva at the hospital, allowed only by special court permission, apologizing through tears. But Eva pulls away, her trust shattered. She permits his visits only to hear whether he's willing to face his rage, willing to seek real change. He nods, tears streaming, promising counseling and penance. But Eva can't yet look at him without fear. By week's end, Danny and Eva find themselves standing at a shrine of candles in the courtyard where the Foundation's summer gala once stood. The flickering lights reflect in their eyes as they share one final embrace. "We'll move forward," Danny says softly. Eva nods, though uncertainty gnaws at her. "I know, but I can't forget what I did." Danny grips her sister's hand because in this moment, they are more than friends. They are family bound by trauma and resilience. "You're not alone. We'll face each day together." And so, as Fairmont Crest recoils from the chaos and prepares to start anew, Eva Thomas, Danny Dupree, Ted Richardson, and the rest confront a new truth. Justice can demand impossible sacrifices, compassion can be twisted into betrayal, and love can drive a parent to violence. Yet through it all, they must choose whether to be defined by their worst moments or by the strength to rise above them. Eva awakens just as pale dawn light filters through the curtains of her hospital room. Her shoulder throbs from Ted's blow, but the ache in her chest, the guilt and confusion, hurts far more. Beside her, Danny Dupree waits, exhaustion etched around Danny's eyes. When Eva's gaze meets hers, Danny offers a soft smile. "He won't hurt you again," she promises, though both know how fragile peace can be. Down the hall, Ted Richardson paces, in a sterile consultation room. Released on strict probation, house arrest, mandated therapy, community service, he still cannot escape the memory of his own hands clamped around Eva's arms. Characteristically stoic, he buries his shame under a veneer of remorse. His counselor, Dr. Maya Foster, urges him to confront why he became so unmoored. "You are her protector, Ted," she reminds him. "Your fear of losing her nearly destroyed her." Ted closes his eyes, voice barely above a whisper. "I will not fail her again." Meanwhile, Leslie Thomas lies back in the jail infirmary, bitterness and panic warring in his chest. His escape foiled by Eva's silent alarm, his body battered from Ted's intervention, he drifts between defiance and desperation. When Detective Jacob Hawthorne arrives to interrogate him, Leslie's tone is icy. "Your evidence can't hold up without the helmet's chain of custody. It's contaminated." Jacob leans close, flatly certain. "The lab corroborated brake line residue on that helmet. Your threats against Eva only strengthen your charges. If you cooperate, name who else covered for you, we can talk plea." Leslie's jaw tightens, but he knows time has slipped away. Cooperation may be his only bargaining chip. In the Richardson Foundation's downtown offices, Bill Morty and Haley Corinthos frown over donor reports. Rumors of Ted's violent outburst and Eva's involvement in Leslie's escape have rattled contributors. Haley reassures a worried board member via video conference. Our mission hasn't changed. Children in need still depend on us. Bill reviews a draft press release. It will emphasize transparency, announce an independent audit, and invite community volunteers to reaffirm trust. When he issues the statement later that day, the response is cautious optimism. Several major donors pledge renewed support, moved by Haley's sincerity. Not far away, in a small bank office, Kat Richardson retrieves the final documents from her grandmother's safety deposit box. Secure in a private corner of her loft, she plugs in the USB drive she discovered days earlier. As emails scroll before her eyes, correspondence revealing her late mother's role in diverting foundation funds to protect a young Leslie, Kat's world fractures. She stares at the screen, breath shallow. She texts Haley, "I've found something. Can't talk now." Within moments, Haley's reply, "I'm here." Kat resolves to confront Haley and Bill with the truth that could topple everything their partnership was built upon. Meanwhile, Doug McBride, newly sober but emotionally adrift in the hospital's rehabilitation wing, confronts the wreckage of his marriage. Vanessa McBride's refusal to visit him speaks volumes. She's fled to her sister's house with what little remains of their shared life savings. When his phone buzzes with images of foreclosure notices for their home, panic and shame surge. His counselor warns that unless he accepts responsibility and exposes his gambling accomplices, federal indictments will follow. Doug stares at a framed wedding photo on his bedside table, tears tracing a solitary line down his cheek. "I'll make it right," he vows, though he's not yet certain how. Late that afternoon, Laura Peterson sits in Anita Dupree's recording studio, forcing herself to focus on the soundboard's knobs while Anita listens intently. Laura has come bearing updated forensic reports confirming Leslie's criminal network extends into several shell corporations, evidence her mother unearthed before her death. Anita's face hardens as she absorbs the scope. This will crush him and expose everyone he bought off. Laura nods. But what about the foundation? Bill and Haley will need time to adjust. Anita exhales, recalling her own family's upheaval. "I'll help them navigate it." She places a hand on Laura's shoulder. Together, we'll ensure Eva gets justice. Across town, Sharon Dupree confronts her own web of secrets. In the small, tidy dining room of Tracy's home, Sharon's daughter, Mia, tucks into pedestals of macaroni and cheese oblivious to her mother's turmoil. Tracy, pastel apron over a floral dress, insists Sharon must tell Mia her true parentage before Mia sees headlines about Leslie's accomplice linked to Claire Dupree's lineage. Sharon's lip trembles as she rehearses the words she'll need. "Sweetheart, you're not just my friend's niece. I'm your mother." Mia's brown eyes widen, confusion and curiosity battling. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispers. Sharon gathers her, voice thick with remorse. "I thought I was protecting you from his lies. But you deserve the truth." Tracy squeezes Sharon's hand. "It'll be hard, but you'll rebuild." At nightfall, Danny and Andre Richardson meet on the rooftop of the cafe where they first fell in love. Softly lit by strings of Edison bulbs, the city's roar seems distant. Danny's slender frame trembles in Andre's arms as she confesses her fears. "I love you, but this chaos keeps tearing us apart." Andre brushes her hair back. "I know, Danny. I'm here no matter how turbulent things get. Let's weather it side by side." They share a quiet kiss, and for a moment, the world outside the cafe's fenced-in rooftop rustles with promise. As midnight approaches, Jacob Hawthorne sits in his squad car outside the jail's walled-up service yard. He reviews a folder of pending charges, multiple counts of money laundering against Leslie, felony assault against Ted, conspiracy and obstruction for Eva. He rubs his temples, recalling the faces who entrusted him with their darkest secrets: Laura, Eva, Bill. He closes the folder and steps out of the car, knowing tomorrow morning's arraignments will push Fairmont Crest into uncharted territory. Tomorrow, Ted will testify under oath in his own defense, hoping to weather probation. Eva will be deposed, her careful recounting of last night's events a key piece in both her father's case and Leslie's further indictment. Leslie, fighting for any leverage, will take the stand and decide whether to implicate larger players or perish alone. Doug faces his judge, pleading for mercy and promising restitution if given a second chance. Vanessa, watching from the gallery, must weigh forgiveness against the ruin he brought. Laura and Anita will sit behind Eva in the courtroom, their solidarity a shield against the cameras. Sharon will brace herself as Mia watches the news, wrestling with conflicting emotions. Kat, burdened by her mother's misdeeds, will decide whether to reveal those emails, risking the foundation's collapse. Danny and Andre will mark time, praying their love endures the fallout. Tonight, though, Fairmont Crest holds its breath, families fractured, alliances tested, and futures rewritten. When the courthouse doors swing open at first light, everyone will march through, Eva with scars of survival, Ted on the cusp of redemption or ruin, Leslie staring down the consequences of a lifetime's deceit, and the rest clinging to fragile hope that, despite it all, justice can still be served.